So good day, everyone, once again. And for this episode, we will go on to talk about the derivative combinations that results in the fifth astrological house. So just like the previous episodes of this 13-part series, the early access to this video will be granted first to my YouTube channel subscribers, paid subscribers that is, and you can find more of the details on how to join as a YouTube member, in which you will get early access to videos on top of other perks as well in the description box below. So without further ado, now let's move on to talk about the fifth astrological house and other derivative meanings of the fifth house in combination, that is. So let me just get my cursor right. Okay. So we are talking about the fifth house in this episode. So if we actually start from the area of concern being the fifth house itself, the fifth house will be the first from the fifth, because anything that's the first divisional house from something is the house itself. So we are trying to give meaning to the first divisional house from the fifth. This is what we are trying to delineate here. And if we actually combine the meanings of the first of, or first division of, with the area of concern being the fifth house, we've actually got the condition, appearance, or characteristics of one's children, particularly the firstborn. But this may also be spilling over to your adopted children as well, because someone's adopted children also belongs to the fifth house domain. And the fifth house may also be one's speculative investments or speculations in short, or some kind of risky endeavors. So this may describe the condition, appearance, and characteristics of the first divisional house of something. This may also be talking about one's personality finds an outlet in being playful, spontaneous, and entertaining. This may also be developing a persona via creativity and giving oneself over to pleasurable activities. Another variation of this meaning can be, it is paramount for one to have fun and indulge in creative self-expression, concerts, circuses, and sensuous enjoyments. The second half of this sentence is all about the fifth house in its meaning, in essence. And this may also be delineated as one's life path is dedicated or oriented towards one's children, particularly the firstborn. But the fifth house can also be one's second sibling as well. Because if we, in earlier episodes, I've covered that the third house represents our sibling. But the third house is particularly meant for our first available sibling. And then the second available sibling will be the third divisional house from the third. That's how we end up with the fifth. So this may also be talking about our second sibling because of that further derivative meaning. And the fifth house can also be talking about the urges to be special, to influence, and to produce something. And last but not least, this can also be talking about one instinctively takes note of when to escape from one's responsibilities. The second half of this sentence is in essence describing the fifth house. So now let's move on to the next combination. And so we start off from the fourth house as our area of concern. So this is two divisional houses away to hit the fifth. So it's the second from the fourth. We are trying to delineate here. And this may be talking about resources, income that's earned, monetary gains from real estate property or grassroots connections and activities. This may also be talking about a family friend. This is coming from the second divisional house away from something, because in previous episodes, we have talked about, I think it was the second house where we start putting derivative meanings towards. The second house is the fourth from the 11th. Anything that's four divisional houses away means family or home. From the 11 means friend. So family, friend, that's the second house in its essence. So now we are talking about two divisional houses away, which has the meaning of the second house as well. So that's why a family friend comes in here who visit one's dwelling or private space a lot, because that's what the fourth house in essence is about, one's private space and dwelling, or one where a place, a space in which one calls home and belong to. So another meaning here can be, when we talk about this second from the fourth, this can be bringing one's need to feel safe to one's family, home, cultural inheritance, and ancestral roots. This may also be talking about personal money and wealth are going to the family, or feelings of possessiveness towards one's family members and related relationships. Last but not least, this can also be talking about personal security, self-worth and esteem from serving one's country. Serving one's country is basically national defense. This can be tied to the fourth house in terms of its essence and meaning. So now, let's move on to the next combination. So this time we start off from the area of concern being the third house. And this is three divisional houses away from the fifth. So like I mentioned before, slightly earlier in this episode, that the third from the third, this is what we are trying to combine in terms of derivative house meanings, that this may describe our second sibling in the sibling constellation. And the third from the third house, this can also be talking about the environment which helps one connect to people around one's proximity, local scene, or immediate environment. This may also be talking about communication style, relativity, mentality, and short journeys of one's sibling, particularly the first one to us. This may also be talking about aunts and uncles, cousins, and also neighbors as well. Another combination of three divisional houses away from the third would be talking and writing about one's daily comings and goings and the people in one's daily environment. This may also be talking about a very busy mind that makes connections non-stop. Indirectly, what I'm trying to say is that the third from the three divisional houses away from the third house, which is our area of concern, which results in the fifth, this actually means that someone who has an incessant inner chatter, even if they are in their downtime or free time. This may also be talking about gathering information, satisfies one's curiosity as well. And last but not least, this may also be talking about journaling, writing, and blogging, keeps track of one's daily ideas and thoughts, in this case, three divisional houses away from the third. So now let's move on to the next combination here, in which our area of concern begins with or from the second house. So this is four divisional houses away to hit the fifth. So we are trying to combine the meanings of the four from the second, or 4 divisional houses away from the second house. So this can be talking about familial relationships, cultural inheritances, and family traditions is what one values and feels physical security in. This may also be talking about the familial traditions and ancestral roots that one grew up with inform one's values or represent one's innate wealth and gifts. This may also be talking about one likes to make domestic purchases as well. Anything that's domestic is 4 divisional houses away. Purchases really comes from the second house. And one who like to do something, as a way of, as a form of creative self-expression, this is coming from the resultant house being the 5th. Another meaning that is the 4th from the 2nd can be that one's home or private life and affairs or paternal figure growing up is treated like one's possession, or this may form one's safety net or security blanket as well. Another combination of meaning here can be one's early life or home life conditioning influences one's objective attachments or how one approaches creating financial security for oneself. And last but not least, another meaning I can think of will be being clan, C-L-A-N, conscious, is how one approaches one's finances. Or family life creates one's urges to own or possess things. Okay, so this is what I have for you in a snapshot of this derivative house combination that results in the 5th ultimately. So now let's go to the first house as our starting point or area of concern. So we need to hit the 5th house because this is what this episode is about. So this is 5 divisional houses away from the 1st. So it's the 5th from the 1st. So what this can mean is that the desire for fun, love, and romance is the vibe that other people pick up on one first. This may also mean that sports or hobbies helps to shape one's physical appearance or condition. So this can be linked to someone who does sports as their first choice in life, instinctively speaking. This may also mean being lighthearted, entertaining, artistic, and creative is your natural self-expression. Urges to influence, produce, and be entertaining are apparent to other people on first meeting. And last but not least, this may be talking about relationship with one's children, particularly the firstborn, has an impact on one's overall outlook in life. Okay, so this is what I have for you when we're talking about the 5th from the 1st. So now let's start off with the 12th house. This is 6 divisional houses away from the 5th. So we need to delineate the 6th divisional house from the 12th. This is what we are trying to achieve here. So the 6th from the 12th, this can mean that which serve the need to release grief and sorrow, spend time alone, or melt into formless bliss, escape from reality, and becoming aware of one's own self-undoing. So this is the more psychological delineation. A more concrete one will be daily work environment may involve prayer or meditation practices, engaging with charitable organizations and institutions and social units. Social units is also the 12th house domain. Museums, hospitals, and also labor unions. This can also mean that work involves being a volunteer of sorts, because volunteering actually falls into the 12th house domain in terms of its essence and meaning. And another derivative combination here can be using pills, drugs, exercise, or even food as a way to escape from reality. Last but not least, this may also be talking about one's attitude to daily work and routines can be one's self-undoing or destruction path. Because self-destructive path or self-destruction path can be linked to the 12th house as well. So now let's start off with the 11th house. So if we start with our area of concern with the 11th house, this is 7 divisional houses away to hit the 5th. So it's the 7th from the 11th, 7-11th basically. And this may be talking about finding one's significant partner over the internet or getting hitched to one's friend, social network circle, someone from there, or friends with benefits. This can be talking about associates. And on a more darker meaning, because the 11th house can talk about stepchildren, someone who gets hitched to one's stepchildren. Because I have read charts that has this combination of meaning that weaves through their chart. And another combination of meaning here in the derivative sense will be marriage and partners of friends, or friends with benefits, associates, stepchildren, and also happy hour buddy. Not forgetting happy hour buddy also comes from the 11th house. And this may also be talking about a marriage or union that can feel more like a friendship than a love relationship. This may also mean that one's partner has to somehow fit in with one's friendship circle and groups in which one intermingles with. This may also be talking about wanting to be with someone who supports one's causes. This can be social causes, or is one's biggest fan as well. Another variation of this meaning can be business partners who also share the same interests. And another meaning can be being married to a social cause, literally within yourself, a social trend, or one's aspirations, or one's future hopes and dreams, and actively engage in it, 7 divisional houses away. Last but not least, this may also be talking about wanting one's partner to share an equal interest in the same causes that one is interested in, or share the long-term hopes and dreams and aspirations and goals for the future. So now let's move on to the next one. So our area of concern, or where we need to begin with, is the 10th house. So this is 8 divisional houses away to hit the 5th house. So it's the 8th or 8 divisional houses from the 10th. This is what we are trying to combine. And this may be talking about the ruining of one's credit or social status and standing and reputation. This may also be talking about research and investigation are key elements to one's vocation, profession, and career. So in this case, this may be someone who is working professionally as an occultist or a private investigator of sorts. This may also mean that one's tax or bank loan is public knowledge or be made known that way. This may also be talking about the death, rebirth, inheritance, legacy of one's maternal figure growing up. From the 10th, this may also be one's bosses or authority figures that one reports to. Another variation of meaning here can be one's intimate or sexual partners is key to one's ability to gain recognition and awards. And also understanding another's motivations and psychology, 8 divisional houses away, is what one does professionally. So this can indirectly mean someone who is a practicing psychologist or psychiatrist. And because anything that's 8 divisional houses away from the 10th house can also be the highest point in someone's chart who directly connects to the divine and God. Combining 8 divisional houses away from the 10th, that results in the 5th. When I see someone who's got a prominent 5th house in their chart as well, which is 8 divisional houses away from the 10th, this may also give me the inkling that probably in a past life, they may have studied sacred texts. So in this lifetime, they are trying to connect with that. I do have something of that combination. That's why I live to tell, right? And now let us move on to the 9th house. So from the 9th house, which is our area of concern, this is 9 divisional houses away to hit the 5th. So it's the 9th from the 9th. This is what we are trying to combine. So this can be talking about expanding one's horizons via involving oneself with metaphysics or one's grandchildren as well. Metaphysics and one's grandchildren belong to the 9th house in essence, in its meaning. And the 9th divisional house away from the 9th, this may also describe someone who's also an anthropologist as well. Another variation of this 9th from the 9th also can be finding purpose and meaning in higher adult or tertiary education. Living in foreign lands to learn more about their own customs can also be one of the meanings of the 9th from the 9th. And last but not least, this can also be talking about a missionary. That is a 9th house kind of occupation, or an astrologer who is operating in a foreign country, 9th from the 9th. All right. And now let's quickly move on to beginning with the 8th house. So this is our area of concern. And this is 10 divisional houses away to hit the 5th. This is what we want. So it's the 10th from the 8th house. So what this can mean is that one's career needs to offer opportunities to explore the taboo or sexual experiences. This may also be talking about finding one's true profession and vocation via self-regeneration, renewal, and personal transformations. So another meaning here can be someone who works professionally in debt or tax collection. This can also be referring to someone who takes their profession to the edge, because the 8th house, it also means to have some kind of peak experience with something. So taking your profession to the edge also can be mentioned here. And this can also be someone who does something that is so dangerous as a sport. This can be someone who perhaps does bungee jumping or anything that is or base jumping as their profession. This actually connects the 8th and the 5th and 10 divisional houses away between these two houses. And this may also mean one's true vocation involves in-depth emotional interactions and exchanges with other people's emotional baggage. This may also involve some kind of research and investigation as well. And last but not least, this may mean an authority in occult-related topics and subjects. So now let's move on to the 7th house as our area of concern. So this is 11 divisional houses away to hit the 5th. So we got to delineate the 11th from the 7th. So this can actually mean friends who become personal business partners, or the sphere of influence that one partner has. This can be personal or business partner. This may also mean the higher social purpose is what one strives for when entering into a marriage or partnership. This may also mean the friend, associate, acquaintance, happy hour buddy, one's friend with benefits, of one's paternal grandfather or maternal grandmother. I think I have talked about the derivative mechanism behind why the 7th house can describe one's paternal grandfather and maternal grandmother. Another combination of meaning here can be one who has reformative attitudes towards marriage. And another variation of this meaning can be bringing an attitude of detached friendship to one's significant relationship, or that one's aspirations are often fulfilled through a significant other, or the complement of oneself. And last but not least, this can be someone who is a fan of debating, because debating can be a 7th house meaning in its essence. And now we have come to the last combination for this episode, in which our area of concern is the 6th house. So this is 12 divisional houses away to hit the 5th. So it's the 12th or 12 divisional houses away from the 6th. So this can be talking about the subjective, spiritual, sacrificial, or karmic factors that links to or affects one's health, and subsequently diseases, and also one's well-being. This may also spill over to other 6th house themes, such as employment and personal routines as well. And another variation of this meaning can be being in solitude or alone too much may cause health-related issues, or cause some kind of mind-body connective issues as well. Because mind-body connection related matters also links to the 6th house. So the 12th from the 6th, this may also be talking about one gets into their spiritual side via interaction with their pets and animals. This may also be talking about a mystical spiritual connection with their pets and animals as well. And if I were to bring it even further, this may also be talking about someone who can actually connect better with the astral plane, with their animals around them in their daily life. Because I've known someone who's gotten some pets that they increase their capabilities to attune to the astral plane from doing just that. This may also be talking about secret enemies may come in the form of one's employees or co-workers, hired help, or servants. This may also be inferring that being dreamy or being misunderstood and unfocused in one's daily work. So someone in what in Singapore we call blur at work. they usually have that combination. And anything that's 12 divisional houses away can mean losing something or the loss of, that brings along grief and sorrow. And the sixth house is one's job. So if I were to combine the meanings of this can mean losing one's job more than the average person, or the desire to escape reality affects one's ability to hold down the job. So this can, I'm giving two variations of around the same meaning, but slightly different. And last but not least, this can be talking about being charitable or volunteering is part of one's everyday work routine or work environment. This may also be talking about one's path of service as well. So this is what I have for you in terms of the 12 derivative combinations in which we result in the fifth house as the resultant one. So I hope this is very educational and informative for you guys. And if you want to join this YouTube channel as a member, please check out the link in the description box below. So for the next episode, we will go on to talk about the sixth house and the 12 derivative combinations of the sixth house. So till then, take care and see you soon.